Hey everybody, this is Owen Zarek coming to you with another 3Q4UbyU. Today we'll be talking with Liz Rodriguez from Easthampton Clay. I'm standing here right outside of Eastworks at 116 Pleasant Street, one of our historical converted mill buildings. We'll be heading up to Studio 241 in a second to talk with Liz. Liz recently moved here from the Cottage Street Studios, another historical converted mill building right here in Easthampton. So come follow us on our journey while we ask Liz 3 questions for her, by her, and explore her studio. All right, we made it up here to the studio. We're all set up. I got Liz here in the background. So our first question for Liz today is, what is Easthampton Clay?
Welcome, Owen. Thank you for having me. Easthampton Clay is a spacious, diverse, and an inclusive pottery studio in the heart of Easthampton. We offer classes, workshops, individual and private group lessons, as well as memberships. I wanted to create a space where people could come and unplug, disconnect from their devices, and connect with one another and get back to the earth. Our mission is to cultivate a safe, inclusive space that fosters growth, development, and here at Easthampton Clay, we believe that clay can be a medium to promote connection, learning, healing, and creativity. Clay grounds us in a way that no other medium can. It soothes us and it forces us to be mindful because it demands a great deal of our presence simultaneously. And pottery is basically the new yoga. We developed a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee through a scholarship program here under my dad's name, the Manny Rodriguez Scholarship Fund. We developed it under his name because he was an art teacher in the South Bronx, and his entire mission in life was to bring creativity, art, and soothing to children in underserved communities. The mission of the foundation is to bring free classes to people who can't afford it, to people in the BIPOC community, to people in the queer community, specifically those who are trans, gender nonconforming, and non-binary. In addition to that, we also have a beautiful gallery downstairs that is run by our members and offers everything from functional wear to just really intriguing, interesting sculpture and jewelry, ceramic jewelry as well.
Thank you, Liz, and what a wonderful tribute to your father as well. One of the things I love about many businesses in this city, but certainly what you're doing here, is the creation of welcoming and safe spaces for so many people in our community. It's very important, and it's great to see this studio here having participated in so many classes at the old studio at Cottage Street Studios, which brings us to our next question. Tell us about the classes that you offer.
We offer 15 different weekly classes here at Easthampton Clay. We have classes for beginners who have never touched clay before, either on the wheel or through a hand building process, so off the wheel. We also offer a couple of advanced classes, one for those who have been taking some beginner classes for a few terms and want to explore some more complex forms. And we also offer a surface design class taught by our very own Kayla McFarland. And that class explores different materials that you can use to make the surfaces of your pottery a little bit more exciting. We also offer classes dedicated to our queer community, and we are in the process of developing classes dedicated to our BIPOC community. In the future, our hope is to develop a class specifically for sculpture. So that'll be interesting, particularly exploring the human bust and face and things like that. In addition, we also offer some private lessons. So if you can't take a full 8-week class, you can come and do a 1 or 2 hour wheel or hand building lesson. We also do parties for children and adults. So if you have a large family gathering that you are interested in, we could take up to 16 people. For kids, we offer our children's and teens classes here weekly as well. And with partnership with the Prindle School, we will be offering a summer program that is dedicated to music through Dan Prindle's program and pottery as well. So it's a music and summer program for kids. And this summer we will also be offering an adult camp, if you will, an adult summer camp. So it'll be 4 weeks, an intensive, and you'll have full reign of the studio, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Wow, Liz, you've really sculpted a wide array of opportunities and options here for students of all skill levels and ages. I can speak for myself. I've come to classes here with my family, and my child is currently participating in a program. Students here really have a lot of options how to work with clay, and the collaboration, the harmonious collaboration that you've created with the Prindle School for the summer camp, it's really wonderful. It's music to my ears. So you mentioned membership a few times. Tell us what membership here at Easthampton Clay is all about.
So membership is designed for folks who need access to a studio, particularly clay artists who need access to a studio, in that they need clay, glazes, kiln firings, and all that kind of good stuff. We have 3 different tiers of membership. In Tier 1, you are renting a shelf, essentially, a 2-foot by 4-foot space where you can store your work, and you can work here in our studio in a designated members area, or you can work throughout the studio as well, as long as classes are not in session. I think we're one of the few studios in the area that offers a dedicated member space. With membership, there is also these gatherings that happen pretty frequently. They're either called bro and throws or slab and gabs, and our members meet. It's a really tight-knit community, and it's wonderful. The second tier of membership is where you already have a setup at home, either a wheel or slab roller or whatever equipment you have at home, and you just need a place to come and fire. And then the third tier is specifically designed for those members who have been with us for a while and set up their whole thing at home. So they have a kiln as well. And they just want to belong to a community, either through our gallery and just come in and sit in on some of our committees. And speaking of committees, a lot of our members kind of are the driving force behind Easthampton Clay and in which the direction goes. So we have an advisory board in which that meets about once a month. Right now we're meeting once every few months. But they're the people that drive the direction of the studio. We have the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Committee, which I've mentioned before. And then we also have a sales committee. And so as a member, you could come in and sit in on any of these committees to help us make decisions around the studio.
Thanks, Liz. That was an incredibly informative interview. Another 3 questions for you by you with Easthampton Clay here. I've got to say, this business is really killing it here at Studio 241 in Eastworks, 116 Pleasant Street. For those of you who don't know, who are watching the interview, we had members all around us working in their spaces, and I appreciate them all sharing their space with us and creating space for this interview today. Really a wonderful new space up here for Easthampton Clay. Congratulations. Another member of our mill community. Actually, they came from one converted mill to another. So just great reuse in our city. We're going to head down to the gallery space in a second. But thanks for joining us for another 3 questions for you by you with Easthampton Clay today. Thanks to Liz and the entire studio. Have a good day. Yeah. Do you want to talk through it while we're doing it, or do you want to just, or it's up to you?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about what we're doing. So I'm making a bowl, and the first process of making a bowl is centering the clay. So we do this process called coning. So I'm coning the clay up and bringing it down, and I'm going to cone it back up one more time. And what we're doing is we're getting all those particles of the clay to move into center. So the last part is just making it nice and still. I'm going to clean off my little bat here. This little plate attached to the wheel is called a bat, and it holds the clay in shape while it's setting up a little bit or drying. And in order to create a still piece of clay, we have to connect our arms to our body. So I do this thing that the kids call the Tyrannosaurus Rex move. So my elbows are in my body, and as I bend over, they really kind of connect in. The more I push the clay forward, the clay wants to move into center. That was pretty good. And
2 points.
and then from here, I'm going to do something called opening the clay. I'm going to take my thumbs. I'm going to come in right into the center, and I'm going to stop the wheel, and I'm going to take a measurement and make sure that I have enough depth to trim the pot later. So I've got about 1 inch, which is good, and then now I'm going to open it. So I'm going to take my thumbs, I'm going to pull them apart, and I'm going to compress the floor. So I'm pushing down on my sponge, and I'm moving it back and forth in my floor. And now I'm going to pull the clay up. So I'm going to push it in first, compress the rim, I'm going to move the clay up a little bit more. Compress the rim. And I'm going to move the clay out. It's a little wobbly because I have a little air pocket in there, but that's okay. Completely centered, beautiful pots are overrated. I'm going to pull it out one more time. Let's start from the floor. And that's it. We can move it out a little bit more with our ribs. And there you have it, a little bowl.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that just bowled me over.